Hello, wonderful people, and welcome to Weave the Tale. And with us, Paradise City Stories and Mutants and Masterminds actual play. Love to have you. I am your humble editor, Pope. I use he, him pronouns, but I get to play all sorts of folks in the course of our story. But we'll get to that. First and foremost, I want to make sure that you get to have a feel for these wonderful people and the heroes they play. First up, coming back to us, Mr. Smith. How are you doing, friend?
I am doing fantastic. I am Mr. Smith. He, him. I had a nice little break. Enjoyed a little trip. You can find me on the Twitterverse at Mr. Smith. And I am once again playing Mr. Universe, Bastian Balthazar Bucks, who I believe has been twirling around, twiddling his thumb, sitting on a rooftop for the last, I don't know how.
Well,
all nice and safe and sound, right?
Oh,
right?
Terribly safe. Someone who is
terribly safe,
just terribly safe as well. Within the Mad City in a very lonesome church is Jettica Jones, played by Alicia. How are you doing, friend?
Oh, hi, that's me. Yes, I'm Alicia, or Petty Energy, or Energy 9, depending on where you know me from. I'm doing great. Jett's about to have a bad time. Yes, Miss Jettica Jones, both me and my character use she, her pronouns. Oh boy, we're gonna get you help, Silas. We're gonna fix it.
Someone who is looking to fix some things is Lawin, played by Nino. How are you doing, friend?
Hey there, everyone. My name's Nino. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Lawin, the veteran lightning hero of the group.
And someone who's having to respond to lightning-like problems is Overdrive, played by Sveth. How you doing, friend?
Hello, I am good. I am Zweth, at Zwethra on Twitter. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character Overdrive, who is a cybernetically enhanced lass who is dealing with some nightmares from her past at the moment. It'll be fine.
Oftentimes, in order to go forward, we have to go back. And back we do. We've seen a lot of the Mad City over the course of a number of issues. Here in issue 306, we see a number of panels of where our heroes are in the Mad City. We see Jett standing over Silas, one pew in that forlorn church. We see Lawin making his way to the Labyrinth District, hanging overhead and consulting a newspaper. We see Overdrive, back alleys, terrible things from their past on their heels. But then we get a full splash panel of Mr. Universe, who last we saw made his way to the rooftops of the Mad City, a tangled canopy of large skyscrapers, but curiouser and perhaps far more threatening is the tangle of airplanes and other aircraft that hang over the entire city high above, making a tangled web of walkways high above. One can plunge to certain doom should one put one wrong step high above. And who knows what lies within the tangled wreckage. Mr. Universe, you made it up here.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Well, as I recall, Mr. Universe had a rather convoluted map that he was attempting to follow. I sadly do not recall where he was attempting to go, however. I think he was trying to get to find his mates because there was a time problem with the 13th hour.
Yes. We zero in to probably the highest skyscraper in the Mad City. A pale gray building that, despite its placement, always seems to be in the center. Always you can lay your eyes on it. Before it gets to the clock face, it says high school. And that gray edifice is topped by a clock that has one extra series of digits, 13th hour. Currently, the hour is 12:05 for Mr. Universe.
Touche.
So, you're looking for your friends.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot to go on because they were all separated once upon entering the Mad City, and he figured the best route was to get high on the rooftops to try and see if he could catch one of them, all of them. They're going to be doing something theoretically that would be eye-catching, and his hope was to hone in on one of those and do his best to get everyone into a building before the 13th hour.
Well, since you're trying to perceive from high above, how about a check? How about you roll me a perception check?
Perception, all right. Do that.
33. Seems like things are going well for the group. At least Mr. Universe, at least for now. As you gaze out from your high vantage point through tangled web of planes and down below, some timing from previous issues. You see the mess of the city. You can't quite hear it up here, but you see it. And with it, there is a tiny, tiny speck in the distance. But it flashes. It flashes like lightning as one of something a bit larger, Zeppelin maybe, sparks and then starts careening down.
Wait, I just want to make sure I understood. Bastian just saw a Zeppelin just light up and start crashing.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like one of us. He's going to start making his way in that direction now. He wasn't flying because he didn't want to race the buildings, if memory serves.
So that serves last time. Do you want to attempt to fly, or are you going to try and navigate the tangled web of planes?
No, he's gonna have to fly. That's going to be his fastest route rather than going through this jungle of debris. So he's gonna run at the nearest plane that seems to be jutting up, or nearest bit of debris that's jutting up above the rest. Kind of use it as a jump off point to hit the air and aim for the Zeppelin.
I'm going to need a series of checks to see how this goes right or this goes wrong. So,
Yep.
First things first, because we're talking about a little bit of balance, I need an acrobatics check.
Uh-huh. Oh, this is gonna go terribly.
17. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Okay. Ooh.
But to get that push off this rickety bit of debris, I'm going to need an athletics check.
Moderately better.
Still going good. Still going good. And the last check that I need from Mr. Universe is, surprisingly enough, a presence check. Just straight up presence.
Oh. Okay. Awkward. Ooh, super
awkward indeed. So, here's what we see.
Okay.
We see Bastian in his heroics take a few steps back, aim at this tangled wreckage of a Cessna on the edge of this building that he's atop of, and run. It is with strength and grace that he hits the edge of the plane. It is with strength and grace he avoids tangled shadow hands, clawed fingers that reach up from the plane and try and drag him off, pull him down, end him. But as Bastian leaps off and should take flight, this place doesn't work on normal physics. What's up is not necessarily up, and what's down is not necessarily down. Left is not right. This is a place of dreams and nightmares. And one of the most common dreams, nightmares, thoughts, is falling.
That's right.
And falling
That's bad.
is what Mr. Universe is doing.
Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good.
What do you try to do?
So there's that moment where he leaps up, and the buildings sort of move away from him, almost in their own sadistic humor, to give him the perspective of the fact that he is just floating in the air for the briefest of moments. And then he realizes he doesn't feel like he's flying. And whatever constitutes his gravity is taking hold of him. And he screams the most blood-curdling scream. Because this is not how his world works. And so there's a good, I mean, it's a lifetime to him. Let's be honest. It's a lifetime that he's just screaming. At which point he does his best to get his wits about him, and looking at the building itself, any other sort of piece of matter, and regardless of how far away it might be, he just reaches out to it in an attempt to grab onto the whatever it's made of, trying to see the world of that his mind is sort of forced into in terms of that science and logic, and just translate it to this sort of make-believe world of dreams and nightmares, and just trying to be connected to the building again.
Okay. You have a number of options.
Okay.
You can try and acrobatics your way to guide your falling path and grab hold of whatever you can of the building.
Uh-huh.
Or you can try and will yourself over, which would be a presence check.
Oh, God. Okay. None of those are awesome. So, he's going to go with will, because he believes this is the right place for willpower to win out.
Okay.
Oh boy. Oh,
10.
I mean, it could be worse.
It could be worse. So, I've got good news and I've got bad news. Good news.
Let's go with the bad. Let's just hit
Let's go with the bad. Well, first, in order to get to the bad, we have to go with the good.
Oh, damn. Okay.
The good news is you find yourself closer to the building.
Oh, that's nice.
We have that plummeting shot as the realm itself almost laughing, because this has happened before. Not necessarily with Bastian, but it's definitely happened before. And the city itself has its own humor once, as the ground comes quickly, but in the space of a place that doesn't work by logic. Bastian plummets quickly, but reaches out, kicks and spins, and a hand just gets purchase on the leg of a gargoyle set at the edge of a building. But it's just fingertips. So I need you to give me an athletics check to see if you can hold on.
Oh. Okay. I feel good about that one.
Fingertips becomes a hand, as with desperate strength, Bastian holds on and is able to pull himself up onto the side of this ledge.
Once he gets up on the side of the ledge, he looks at the gargoyle and kind of pats it on the back. Thanks, Goliath. I appreciate you.
Somewhere, not necessarily here, but somewhere, Keith David is smiling. And with that moment where it seems to be Bastian's lot in life to have moments of greatness in the face of near death, we cut to someplace else in the Mad City. We cut to a few minutes ahead. Now hovering above the Labyrinth district is Lawin. And he is, as last we saw him, consulting a paper that seems to change its predictions depending on the time. So, what you doing, Lawin?
I seem to remember that where we left off was that Mr. Nobody was actually beneath him, heading towards a church.
No one was beneath him.
Mr. No One.
Yeah. But that is because no one thinks faster than him. And yes, he was below, between the Labyrinth district and the Desperation district. And Lawin, if I remember correctly, just made out the figure, but not necessarily who it was.
Okay. Does Lawin sense anything in particular about this figure and their intent? Like, why would this figure stand out to Lawin?
I will give you a choice between insight and investigation as to what check you want to make to jog Lawin's memory.
They're both the same rating wise, so I will just choose investigation.
26. Those keen eyes, instead of just glancing over, now focus. And in that moment, as you narrow your focus, eyes gazing down from high above, his back is turned to you as he's heading towards the church. But as you're making him out, as you're recognizing him, he turns unnaturally fast for him. Eyes lock eyes. And he just smiles. An unfortunate grin. Teeth sharper than they should be. And the hand just goes up and daintily waves.
Alright, well, Lawin is going to casually fold his newspaper up and roll it into a tight roll. And he's going to get in no one's face.
All right. Are you going to try and strike him, or are you just doing a Superman-like zoom up to get like nose to nose with him?
The latter.
Okay. And with incredible speed, Lawin asserts himself in this place and gets a hair's breadth between him and no one. And as you stick the landing, we see the two of them apart in just one word bubble. It's so nice to see you.
Well, I suppose I must be polite. What are you doing here?
Oh, you know. Just trying to make it so that the cosmos makes sense.
Is there some sort of order that you're trying to put things in?
See, that's the problem with the world. It moves too slow. But here, everything is relative. And if here becomes there, well, then things can be fast enough for me. And as he finishes the sentence. He's not a speedster. Never has been. But he's no longer in front of you. Instead, the church doors open and close. And no one is in the church with Jett and Stylus. So nice of you to check in on my brother and I. Got your tongue, Jett?
What did you do? Sorry.
I didn't really do a thing. I just realized a few things and made certain that certain plays would be made. Really, I did next to nothing. For once. You did most of the heavy lifting.
Out of character, real quick. Was I aware that that is it Doctor or Mr. No One? I forget. No One
Doctor.
Was Doctor. No One. Okay, I was right for a second. Was brothers with Stylus, or is that a new revelation?
That's a new revelation.
Okay, cool. All right. So I think, you know, once that jar, it's just like you did the heavy lift, and it's true. It's just like, wait, brother.
I know. Unfortunate events that caused my current condition have messed with me at a molecular level. The family resemblance is gone. But we do share certain traits. And he's not a superpowered villain. He's incredibly intelligent. He doesn't have superpowers. But here, the pews start to shuffle and move. Bits of paper start to fly out of hymnals, Bibles, prayer books. And as he takes steps towards you down the aisle, armor begins to form on Dr. No One. And with those steps, we cut to, as we turn the page, back to Overdrive. Memory serves, you were on the run. Memory serves, bits of Overdrive's past, things, individuals she was grappling with.
Most
Are they
notably
real?
herself.
Are they real? Visions? What are they? And what are you going to do about them?
If I remember correctly, I think I had just entered into battle with myself, I think.
Yes.
There was a dreaded command or requirement from the other me to submit, and I was very much a no. And so yeah, I'm wailing with much emotion behind all of the attacks on this other self of me.
Go ahead and give me some attacks. Let's see what happens.
Okay. I think I just let off a big static charge, which had surprised them.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna rush in, and I'm just honestly gonna try and punch, because rage means not necessarily.
Oh, that's some rage.
Wow.
That is some rage. Damn. Okay. So, do you have any modifiers to your punching damage?
I do not believe so. DC 15. It does say
Yeah.
30 here, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 15.
Okay. You clock him. You clock him good. Just enough to cause the entire body, all those digital screens, those little LEDs, the super technology, to go static for a second. But when they come back, it's familiar and yet different, as technology that handles these screens, that puts out the propaganda, the messages. 1 minute it's static, 1 minute they're entirely in focus, and the next minute they entirely blend in with their surroundings. You have lost them visually. And they're going to try and get an attack on you. Let's see if they can actually connect. Even with the advantage of stealth. Does a 17 meet or beat your dodge?
No, not quite. Just misses.
So, from one storyteller to another, I want you to describe the panel that we see as this cloaked figure, this mirror, darkly, of Overdrive comes into view, but somehow misses. Tell me what this looks like.
So there's, first of all, it's very frantic, looking around for this person, other me, and then there's just a close-up and a moment of deep breath, calming, what were very erratic patterns all over her screen, just simmer down to flat lines. And I think in the thought bubbles, it just says, I left this version of me behind a long time ago. But I'm still predictable. And then I move out the way, just in time.
And with that move, we see, as they come into view, instead of just a standard fist, is riddled with these sparking electric spikes. This spiked fist moving past Overdrive's head, and everything was in this punch. They are overextended. What do you do?
Okay. So am I gonna do something fancy? Okay, yeah. So I have one more hero point, I think.
Well, the hero points refresh every every issue. So
Okay, cool. In which case, I've got this ability to jack in, which lets me communicate with machines and like give them basic commands.
mhm.
Can I use, and it's limited normally obviously to just like hardware-y machines, can I use my hero point to make it work on another category of people being, at this moment, other me?
Yes, give me the hero point, and
So hero point for you.
you can make the attempt to gain control over this mechanical monstrosity.
Mhm. So, what would you like me to roll?
Just give me a... Again, you spent the hero point. Give me a technology roll.
Cool. I can do this.
33. And in that moment of clarity, in that moment of recognizing who you are, who this was, the city just sort of bleeds away. And there's just a connection between you and them. What's the command you give?
I think it's the one she just gave me before. It is submit.
And with this coded command, we turn the page. We don't see any of our heroes. We see a darkened tent, a darkened room. Within the bizarre bazaar, a loom, threads, a tapestry starting to be put together. And as a loom is being worked, there is now a snarl in the weave. And this feminine figure looks to be a combination of ragdoll, almost spider-like, distinctly feminine, maybe mannequin, just let out this hiss. It is a hiss of frustration. And with it, slams the wood and tugs at the thread. And anyone who has worked with a loom knows if you get a snag, it can be a nightmare to untangle. And in this city of nightmares, there is a pull and a further hiss as you see that vision of yourself go limp and then sublimate into a dirty fog that just lingers upon the ground before fading away. It seems for this moment you're free of the Nightmare Weaver. You're free of your past Overdrive. What do you do?
Very slowly release tension in my hand where I was gripping onto them. And then whisper, Bastian, to myself, and then I start yelling for Bastian, and I'm gonna run and try and find Bastian and Titanica, and find them.
Just give me a quick roll here. Yeah, give me a persuasion roll, please.
Ooh, okay.
$14. Okay, so you're yelling, you're looking, and you make your way to the sidewalk. But it seems different this time. There's a crack in it, where the rest of the sidewalk behind you as you look, perfectly solid, perfectly uniform. Same across the street, but here there's a crack. And it runs from slab to slab. And it leads towards one stout skyscraper. Do you follow this?
I think so, yeah.
As you get to the edge of this building where the crack leads, Mr. Universe, as you're catching your breath and looking down, you see the distinctive form of Overdrive heading to the building that you are catching your breath at far below. What do you do? Muted friend.
It would help if I wasn't muted, so my screams go nowhere. As he screams out for Overdrive futilely.
I like that. So you're screaming, and yet as you're peering down, it's almost like the building itself, even though it saved you, it doesn't necessarily want you rescued. It likes you, wants to keep you. And so as sound escapes Mr. Universe's lungs, all that noise, that bellow, that sound of desperation just gets gobbled up by the sounds of the city, almost perfectly in tune with those screams is the sound of a jackhammer, late night construction in the Mad City, keeping Overdrive unaware that her friend is just a few stories above. But we turn the page, and we're back with Lawin on the street out in front of this church, dealing with the realization that somehow here, Dr. No One has powers he's never had before.
So Lawin's fist clenches around the rolled up newspaper, and he'll basically fly dash into the church after him. But he'll look up at the clock and just double check the time where he enters.
The clock registers 10 minutes to 13.
Oh well, let's see if we can make this quick. So Lawin's going to make his way into the church and look for Dr. No One. And he's going to pull the same trick that he did when he met Dr. No One or confronted Dr. No One outside. But this time, he's going to take that rolled up newspaper and swat him on the nose with it, with some calcitrant puppy. And then he's going to reach out and grab his head, Von Erich style, and deliver the Electric Mayhem stun move.
Give me an attack roll. So, here's what we see. You hit him with the newspaper, but instead of it bouncing or laying flat, it just becomes part of this armor. And you lash out with Electric Mayhem, laying it in thick, grabbing the head, grabbing this helmet. And electricity courses through. But instead of it meeting purchase with flesh and bone, the paper just lights a flame, burns away, not burning him. His eyes staring into yours, and that unnatural smile just staring back as the paper burns away. Fascinating. I would like an initiative roll now for both Jett and Lawin.
28.
22, 28.
You rolled that 20 and I'm still slower than Lawin. Oh well.
Yep. And Dr. No One with a 28. What's your initiative modifier there, Lawin?
It
plus
is
10. You are just a fraction of a second faster than Dr. No One. What do?
You see, Lawin just looks irked that his cheap shot didn't really work. And he's going to sling blade around behind Dr. No One, and then double claw his head as if he was doing that old school crushed coconut thing that he used to do. And he's going to try Electric Mayhem again to at least stun this guy so that 26.
Oh, 26. Okay. Let's see. Even with his souped up state, like that connects with a full nearly 2 degrees over. And now I'm having a check. Okay. So there is good news and bad news. I will describe what happens. So, and with that effect, he has to make a toughness check. 17. Okay. So, at this moment, with that crushed coconut, the paper has already burned away, and finally, hands meet head, and the electricity courses and connects, but not to the degree that it should. This should have just put him out. There's There's something about this place that is keeping him up, but he is dazed. He isn't stunned, but he is dazed. And there is this cry of pain that comes across his lips. I see. The hour hasn't struck yet. Again, it's all about the timing. Jett. In that moment, you can see as Lawin connects, and then the cry of pain, you hear a whimper from behind you. It's Stylus. And he looks worse for wear than his brother. Almost like a good bit of the damage that has been dealt so far hasn't been for him, but his brother. As now it's Dr. No One's turn. And I need to see precisely what all this souped up supervillain can do.
Yeah, this doesn't complicate things at all. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
It's fine.
I couldn't make this easy for you. And as much as he would love to monologue right now, he's tangled with you all enough times to know that Lawin won't give him the chance or the courtesy. So he attempts, and I say attempts, to use his newfound abilities to hit someone he has never managed to land a punch on. Does a 27 hit Lawin?
Yes. My parry DC is 24.
So, for the first time that we've seen in the entire run, we're over 300 issues in. Dr. No One finally lands a punch square to the gut of Lawin. This man that you know should be mortal, just with an incredibly gifted mind. But this blow carries with it so much more power than anything you have felt from him before. Give me a fortitude test. 19. Okay. So, if you weren't you would be double over and on the ground. But instead we get dreamlike anime moment as finally, with all the speed and power that no one has somehow, some way cheated and acquired, he hits this punch to your gut. But Lawin, like, if you were to touch him, he is more granite than skin and bone. And just that punch causes you to slide back 15 feet down the center aisle of these pews. And you stay up, but you're no longer close to him. Jett, what do you do?
Boy, and Stylus looked worse after Lawin hit Dr. No One, correct? So it's just
Yes.
like they're connected somehow. Jett's very angry right now, very frustrated. But I mean, Stylus was essentially her mentor. if there's one type of hero she knows how to deal with, it's Silas's power set. So, at the risk of falling into the monologue hole, this is what she's gonna do. She's obsessed. This is what's gonna do. She's just like, you let your brother suffer here. This is not your power, but you let him suffer and you use it instead. You use something that will never love you, nor you it. You don't know what paper is about. You're not worthy of the powers you're trying to wield. You want to be able to do all these things. Your will is supreme. You think that's how it works? You hurt someone close to me, and now you are going to pay for it. And sort of like concentrating on that symbol that she from the deal she made with Elizixtris?
Elizitrixis, yes.
Elizitrixis, there we go. I'll say it right one of these times. And sort of activating that, because she's trying to go over somewhere. It's just kind of like, okay, you want to go will to will? Fine. Let's do it. So she's going to try and channel that and sort of engage in a, because bad decisions happen, like, as it were, like, mental sort of tete-a-tete with Dr. No One.
Oh!
Yeah, this is a bad idea. She's very mad. But,
We can do this. We can do this. So...
Because, like, if he can punch Lawin, it's like, I'm not going mano-a-mano with you. That's not going to work.
But you're trying to, like, mystically assert your will.
Like, not mind control, but sort of, like, engage him on that plane. You know what I mean?
I get you. I have a question. I have two questions.
Sure thing. Absolutely.
First, I'll let you do this, but I need a hero point.
Absolutely. No problem. I assumed that would be involved.
Second, are you fully calling upon the power room?
Yes. Fully.
Okay, I need you to give me a will roll. Just a straight up will.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah. Come on, D20. Just this once.
Okay.
20?
Normally, this wouldn't even be close, as Dr. No One rolled a 26, and Jett, what shows is a 20, but it's not a 20. Called upon the rune. It's a 30.
Yes!
And
So she did it!
with the power of the Queen of Succubi, the Prince of Temptation, he who should never be called upon, you engage Dr. No One in a battle of wills on a plane that is not here. It is very close to here, as there is now what can only be described as a wizard's duel of wills on the astral, while he is having to split his focus between Lawin and Jett. We turn the page, and Overdrive, you're outside this building. Do you go in?
Yeah, I look from bottom to top, and then just, stride forward. Push the both doors open with both hands, just shy of basically kicking it in. That's where we're at.
We push the doors open, and we go from our normal, even with the Mad City, it's sepia tones, but the characters look like the full color versions that we're used to. But as you push the doors open, everything becomes monochrome. Everything, for our good reader, is black and white. High contrast. Art style has changed. And this place has changed. As you step into this building, it is a textbook example of brutalist architecture in monochromatic, and it is empty, devoid of people. But you come into this empty lobby, wide open. You see an atrium beyond, and a series of floors all circling around this atrium further ahead. And you don't see a soul. What do you do?
Does it look like there's any ways off of this atrium, or is it just the atrium?
There's the atrium ahead, and you can see, as you see some of the floors, that there's a stairwell not too far off towards the atrium. And then there's a desk. Near it is sort of like a hallway that leads off someplace behind. And then there's a set of large double doors to the side, and next to it is a bulletin board that is devoid of any bulletins.
It's a toss-up between the stairs and the double doors. I think I'm gonna go double doors first. It's like looking around and then random go through doors.
You push open those double doors, and it opens into a rather large hall. You see stacks of chairs in the back, and they're metal and plastic, conference chairs. The floor, black and white tile, and then it ends at a raised stage with a podium sitting behind it. And there is a seal on the podium that, as you look at it, you get more and more dizzy. Something about it, your mind's not registering what it says. And for our reader, it's just blurred. And then as you get another look at it, it's pixelated and static. But it is quiet here. You can't even hear outside. You can't even hear your own thoughts. It is just quiet. We turn the page. Mr. Universe, you're sitting on a ledge, screaming. You notice that Overdrive is no longer within your line of sight. What do you do?
Was able to see where she went.
You see that she has entered the building that you are currently perched upon.
All right. Is there a window nearby?
There is a window 6 feet from where you are perched, across a narrow ledge.
Of course it is. He looks back at the gargoyle. Wish me luck, big guy. He then looks to the building. He's like, all right. I'm gonna go to that window. We're gonna be friends. You're gonna make this nice and easy for me, right?
Give me a persuasion check. $17. You hear something. The ledge still is narrow, but it's that distinctive sound of a window just with difficulty, like it hasn't been opened for a few years, being slid up just a few inches.
Okay. All right, big guy. All right, let's do this. Okay. And Bastian is slowly going to work his way over to said window.
Go ahead and give me an acrobatics check. $12. You slip a little, but you catch yourself, and you're right in front of this just like opened window. Give me
He's
a
gonna do his
athletics
best to
check
try and lift up on it.
to open it. Yeah.
What check?
Athletics.
Okay. Oh man,
All right. It's a 10.
feel I'm squeezing.
With some difficulty, you just get it open enough to squeeze through. And you find yourself. It doesn't go black and white, my friends. This room's still that sort of dirty sepia tone. It's like a room in an old hotel. There's that sort of like gold wallpaper. Bed's turned down, looks nice and neat. Box thermostat by the main door has the map for emergency exits. You are here. Small bathroom, desk, chairs, and a small little digital clock on the nightstand that reads 12:35.
Boy.
So you try and get out of the room?
So, yeah, he's once he gets in and he looks at just the general building and room that he's in. He's like, "Thank you. Would you mind helping me get to my friend? Just, lead the way and I'll just go there."
Give me their persuasion check.
Oh God.
So, good news, bad news. Good news.
I love it.
You open the door. You step into a hallway. Your eyes blink. You're back in the room. The window's closed behind
buddy.
you. And the clock reads 12:40.
Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, we're all good here. Everything's fine. It's like, all right, I get it. You're jealous. I understand. I'm a very attractive individual. You want to keep me here? That's perfectly fine. I mean, not really, but we can work with this. They're just a friend. I just need you to help me get to my friend. All right? Everything will be fine. We can still be buds. It's all good. We'll play chess, maybe some cards, have a few drinks. And he goes to open the door again.
Roll me another persuasion check.
Oh.
So, you open the door. You walk into the hallway. You blink, and we turn the page. And you're seated at a small round table in the room. There looks to be a poker game set up. And seated, there are 3 chairs there. You're seated in one. Overdrive. You were losing sight, but now all of a sudden you find yourself in a chair in a dingy yellow room. Looks to be a room in a hotel, sitting adjacent to Bastian. And then there's an empty chair with a set of cards set down. But in your hands, you have cards. Go ahead and give me, both of you, will checks, please. 29. Nice. 21. Overdrive. You are sitting in a hand of a pair of jacks and a pair of 10s with a 9 kicker. Mr. Universe, you're sitting in a hand of 3 kings, a 7, and a 2. And you distinctly get the feeling that this is 5-card draw. And you have a chance to discard cards and get new ones. Overdrive, what do you do?
Do I feel like I have to play? Is that?
Oh, yes.
Sort of. Yeah, okay.
Bastian's just shaking his head. Ah, man. Touche. I did offer.
Is this something I can hear you saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Bastian, what do you mean this is yours? And whilst I'm doing this, I'm gonna get rid of whatever my spare card was. I forgot what you said it was. 9? And I'm gonna pick up one more.
Give me another will roll.
And just hope I'm lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
D6. You get a 3rd jack. You're sitting on a full house.
Yes.
Well, you see, me in this building, we've become very close friends, and it really wants me to stick around for a while. I said I was looking for my other friend, you, and that we could play chess or cards, and it decided that we were going to play cards. As he will go ahead and drop the 7 and 2, I believe, are his extras, and pick up 2 more.
Give me a will roll.
And the 3rd seat would be the building, by the way, in case you were unaware.
Well, can you tell your friend at the building that this is the last hand?
You know, I don't. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. I hey building. If you got a name, let me know. We gotta be friends. Is this the last hand? Like, we have some other friends that might be in trouble. Are they in trouble? They're probably in trouble.
Give me a will roll.
Oh, okay.
21.
God.
And you managed to pick up one more king and an 8. The cards turn themselves over. And with 4 of kind, and a full house, those beat 2 pair. And the clock, we get 1 panel of. It's 3 minutes to 13. And
Oh no.
we turn the page. And sitting next to one another in the front pew, the very front, is Overdrive and Mr. Universe. Behind you, a few pews down, Stylist Reader. In the aisle is Jettica Jones, Lawin, and Dr. No One. And for our good reader, one of the doors in the church, not the double doors that lead outside, but one of the doors near the back has changed color. It's a red door. And Mr. Universe, Overdrive, I need initiative checks, please. $17, $35. Okay. Okay. Mr. Universe. Time slows for a moment. And you have time to do something. What do you do? Muted friend.
Yeah, not that. Okay. Describe who's in front of Bastian again.
Well, there's no one in front. There's behind. Behind. 2 pews back is Stylist Reader. And then in the aisle, just a few feet away from him, is Jett, very tensed up. A number of feet in front, Jett is Lawin, and you've seen him fight some bruisers before. And he is in that fighting stance that tells you he's fighting someone strong. And then past him, you see Dr. No One.
I don't know. Do know?
You as a team have fought him before. Okay, oftentimes he uses a little bit of technology, but again, he, for all intents and purposes, is primarily like mortal. He's just incredibly smart. Problematic.
But he's here.
But he's here.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. So Bastion's going to attempt to pull from what he knows. I'm going to go ahead and spend a hero point for this one, since it's not part of the core set. He is going to jumble Dr. No One's brain waves. So he's going to jolt his head molecularly.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead and. Do you have science?
He's got
As a
physics
skill?
and astrophysics.
Give me a physics check. Sure, this is what we're doing. 23. Okay. And 29. Okay. So you, in this moment, as time has, at least for us and Mr. Universe, slowed a bit in this place of dreams, and you reach out and are exerting your will, your force on this reality. And you reach in and molecules shift. And he looks like he has to take a half step back. Lawin, you notice this? But as we cut to the astral plane, Jett, you notice him flicker. Just a moment. Like, he's there with you, and then for a second, like 3 frames were dropped. He's not there, and then he's back. Mr. Universe, you didn't get all that you wanted, but you definitely put him on the back foot. Next up, Lawin. You can tell something's going on. And you definitely feel that there's more people in the room.
Okay. So Lawin is going to dash right at Dr. No One, and basically do that sort of football spin around him so that he can get into the front, and then you'll just see him like take in some air and then just let it all out, and he's going to do another electric mayhem strike, this time with a palm that flows right out of him and right over one of his chakras points to try to ignite his energy a bit.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm going to use luck. I'd like to re-roll this one.
Go for it. Do it. Give me the luck points.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You connect. You connect hard. And yeah, he is not in a good way. He is really not in a good way. He is not incapacitated, but he is stunned. As he actually wavers, as with that moment, that bit of time that Mr. Universe bought you, you are able to just hit. And you hit him square in the spine. And electricity leaps through the body, and the foot, instead of going back, goes forward to catch himself. And Jett, he flickers again. But he comes back into the focus. And he gets to go.
Oh, just one thing I wanted to add. Lawin's going to use his move by action, so after he delivers that strike, I want Lawin to fly upward and out of melee range of Dr. No One.
You do so. With no retaliation, you are able to get up with your speed, with your flight, and you're hanging there in the air of the church. And we turn the page and we see the astral realm. We see Jett and No One. No One looking a little worse for wear. Hello, Raiders. Welcome. We're playing Mutants and Masterminds Paradise City Stories. We're in a tense situation as our heroes are confronting Dr. No One, both in the realm of the Mad City and the astral plane. Things are about to kick off. As I have to make a check. Okay. He, at least in the astral, shrugs off the assault and then focuses on you. And time dilates, even in this realm. As the scenery begins to change, begins to waver and come into focus. This is a place of mind and memory. And we see, instead of this normally gray realm, little building blocks of scenery falling into place as Paradise City College forms up around these two. It's a very familiar day. A day that has happened. But here, in this moment, it has yet to play out again. And as you see shadows of figures that were, he walks towards you. And just others. While difficult, this was not unforeseen. All I need is time. And a explosion. A familiar one, but in a different location, happens as he lashes out at you, Jett. I need you to make a will check.
That's pretty, it's gonna be pretty rough. Maybe roll 20 will be nice. We'll see.
We'll see.
No!
I'll give you choice. You can be blown back to your body, or you can call upon the rune again.
Oh, we're calling upon the rune again. Like, no, he has to stay engaged here.
So you call upon the power rune, and it just holds you there. You feel the heat, you feel the flames, but you endure in this place through your own will and the will of something dark. And now it's your go.
So I do imagine whenever Jett kind of activated, there is this veil that doesn't work very well with green screen. There's a veil that sort of appears, and then she comes back to her more standard state. Well, standard for the material plane at least. And now I have to find my other filter. Bear with me. Where did I put it? Oh no! There it is. Okay, we're good. But yeah. She so she, sort of like does that. That one was a little closer, I must admit. But you've made a grave error. I remember everything, and you've taken me to a place I know very well. You will lose. And with that, she's going to sort of start, because again, the way to beat, we're on the Mets play now, but the way to beat paper isn't with, brute force or anything. It's sound. So she is going to start ritual with an incantation that is actually written out. Idu, Ilor, Igolak, Ilor, Noitiso, Empak, Kube, Ton. And she kind of like repeats that over and over as a sort of we're in the camp, we're in the campus, so sort of paper sort of like starts to swirl around and like kind of pausing while chanting, looking Dr. Noah straight in the eye. Ritual paper. Back to chanting. And sort of you trying to use that sound to sort of mess with the mind.
Okay. This feels like an occult check.
Okay. Which she does have. She has magic, not the occult specifically though.
Okay, magic. This feels like magic.
Okay. My magic checks have been so bad. But one thing she forgot, and let's say the power room reminded her, is that totally forgot I have skill battery, so I can routine magic check, I think, which takes a 10 basically on it.
Yeah, it takes 10 if you want to routine it.
But this is will based, so I might want more than a 10. I gotta risk it. I gotta do it. We're gonna roll. So she has that, but let's try and see if we can get higher than that. Yes!
Nat
Yes!
20.
Worth it!
Oh dear.
Yes.
Oh dear. Okay. Because of how this instance is going to work, we're going to explode this. So I need you to make another D20 roll. Just a straight D20 roll.
Just straight through 20? Okay. Can do.
Yeah.
Yes! Roll 20.
What
I
the?
said- Thank you. Roll 20. It's working!
So that was another 19, folks. Which brings the total to a 49. Holy cow. Okay, so from one storyteller to another, describe for me what our readers see on this page as you complete the ritual, you assert your will, and impose it upon Dr. Noah.
So I imagine what happens as, because Jett's been chanting this entire time, and paper is swirled from at first places that make sense, like like people's backpacks or something, maybe from the library, and as this sort of like localized tornado of paper like grows and grows, it starts to become that it's not flying from places, it's becoming places. So trees are becoming paper, the sidewalk is becoming paper. Jett herself has sort of like this newspaper overlay over her, and it's all sort of this, and it's all different colors. It's not just black and all the colors of the paper are different, and Jett herself is primarily black and white at this point. And it all just sorts of, and then they all kind of stop for a moment, like then ritual paper, and then everything starts vibrating violently. Every sheet of paper is it's either crinkling or waving in the air, just this cacophony of noise, and it's all centered at Dr. No One.
And I think we get one of those sort of like classic villain defeat panels as all this noise and reverberation, as we get this tight head close-up of Dr. No One just letting out this giant scream. But in the realm that the rest of our heroes are in, he is still just holding himself in place from falling over. But Stylus has slumped in the pew. Go for it.
I was gonna say, sort of seeing him, basically not be able to handle it. As I said, you are not loved by paper.
We have a panel of the clock. It's 2 minutes to 13. Overdrive, what do you do?
So quick question. Can we see Jett in this realm?
Yeah. You see Jett is standing stock still, but in an assertive stance, staring daggers at Dr. No One, but has not moved, but it is a laser-like focus. But yeah, you can see Jett's there. You see Lawin hanging in there. You see Mr. Universe standing beside you, his hands reached out, and you know that he's using an incredible amount of focus, and his eyes are also just latched onto Dr. No One. Actually, give me a perception check real quick. Eight. Okay, that's what you notice.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was worried of. But have I noticed Stylus is not well?
Your focus is drawn to what everyone's eyes are telling you to look at, and that's Dr. No One.
And he's currently just stood still as well.
Like he is staggered and looks like he is concentrating on not falling over.
Okay. I will... Trying to tell. I know that we've faced him before. I know that Jett does her magics, and I don't get it, but it's just to go with what feels right. So I'm gonna go over and just do what seems to make sense to me. And I'm gonna go next to Jett and be there basically to bodyguard if he does anything in this realm, but also if in any way I can lend my strength to whatever unknowing things Jett is doing, I will do that. I have the teamwork feat, so I'm gonna basically try and teamwork.
Sure. I will say that Jett, your next roll, we're gonna give you a +5. Thanks to Overdrive being there for you.
So I sort of come over and I gently put my hand on Jett's shoulder, and then I'm in a protective stance as well next to her.
And I imagine when that shoulder touch happened, Jett sort of, because she's been very tense, and I imagine the breathing's been maybe kind of quick and quiet, but at that kind of that deep breath, as I acknowledge it, and that recenter feeling that strength.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back at the very top. Mr. Universe, what do you do?
A quick question. We only get one hero point each, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Unless the chat wants to give some.
Oh, well, that would be awesome. All right. Mr. Universe has kept this tight focus, trying to impose his order on this maddening place, and in that moment, in his mind's eye is sort of this side panel. He snaps into the place where he has been so scared for so long, of that empty void. And it is there's a snap of sorts, as he typically has been floating in that space in this sort of haphazard way, but he rights himself and comes to a realization that he is that order in the universe, or has some connection to it. And with that, even in the Mad City, in this scene, his body seems to straighten and tense as he sort of floats up a bit. And in the blink of an eye, given his flight speed, is behind Dr. No One. And he's going to attempt to be the connection back to the real world and enforce its laws on Dr. No One.
Sure, let's go ham. Give me... I'll give you a choice.
Okay.
You can give me a will test, which will be a lower DC, or you can give me a physics test, which will be a higher DC.
Let's go with the will. I feel that he's imposing his.
Okay. Oh my. Really? Okay.
If I may.
Yeah, you may. And so you reach out through that darkness, and we see a panel of that void, but the void is this little ovoid, and it's sitting in that room where you were playing cards. And we see the door to that room go from closed to open. We see the red door in the church go from closed to open. And we see Stylus all of a sudden bolt up in the pew. Those weary eyes all of a sudden going from just hollowed out to invigorated. And all of a sudden, no one drops to one knee, both in the astral and here. Lawin, what do you do?
Lawin is going to undo. What time is it? Game time.
It's no more than 2 minutes to 13.
Okay. So, Lawin's gonna land right in front of Dr. No One, and his scarf is unraveled, and he's gonna lash out with the scarf and tangle Dr. No One up. But that's sort of a decoy, because he's gonna follow up with that Jet Li twisting punch from Fearless, the one that it's so hard it breaks open the shirts on the back of the guy he hits, and so his arm is just going to impossibly twist through and hit him straight on in the chest for another electric mayhem to try to incapacitate him. I need 2.
You connect. You connect. You hit. You hit hard. The paper and now the clothing underneath has burned away. And normally when you would hit Dr. No One with something this hard, he would, be like a bug on a windshield in whatever wall was behind him. But instead, that marble fist, electrified, connects, and he drops to both knees in both realms. Like, he is exerting an exceptional amount of will and effort. And he is still not entirely unconscious, but you see the strain that he is under, the distraction, for lack of a better term, he is punch drunk as you have hit him. Like, he's on both knees and swaying. Jett, what do you do?
Let's see. On both knees and swaying. Almost there. Just trying to, because we're she's all in on the stylish part of this, so it's a matter of like how does she attempt to finish him, as it were. She's gonna do, I think at this point, a little bit of color starts to bleed back onto her arms, where her usual sort of, as she's drawing her more usual rune of Rune 68, takes aim and fires.
All right, let's see it.
You know what? I can't even be mad with how good those other rolls were. I'm like, I can't be mad.
You have a +5 for
Oh wait,
teamwork.
but +5.
Yeah.
So it is actually a 16.
Because of the efforts of your teammates,
Yes.
his defenses are just keep getting lower. Lawin hit like a truck. The universe has imposed order and is disrupting his connection to his brother, to this battery that he's tapped into. And it's just him now. It's just him in the space. And with that reassurance that you're getting from Overdrive, that you feel with order being more in place in this mad city, you just connect as his eyes, even in that screen, even in that daze, look up at you with a knowing malice. And we see that bolt hit some sort of invisible barrier and then just crack through an impact. And in that moment, he holds eyes with you, both in the astral and in the realm of the Mad City, and then just slumps over onto his back. and the red door in the church bursts wide open. It was a crack, but now it is wide open, and standing inside is the Hell Warden. Just lets out, "Run! Get in here, now!"
If Jett's back in her body, starts moving.
Overdrive will.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say Overdrive will like swing and help you along as you're not moving. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Overdrive, you now notice Stylus is there behind you. He seems to be coming out of a daze, but he is not moving quickly. If you give me an athletics check, you can pull him and Jett along.
Okay.
Yep. I was gonna imagine Jett was, running, gonna yell, or just like, "Get Stylus, please."
Mm-hmm. Athletics was that?
Yes. All the servos are kicking, and you are entirely in control as you just have, you've taken the arm of Jett and are dragging along and just grab Silas by the back of his coat, and almost like if Titanico was here, you feel that strength, and you just lift him by the collar on his feet, and you are rushing for that door. Mr. Universe, what do you do?
A very calm look on his face, just almost emotionless. He looks down at the body of Dr. No One, and using his control over gravitational force, or the various forces, he lifts the body up and just sort of pulls it along with him as he heads towards the door, with a quick look at Lawin to make sure he is also in motion for the exit.
Lawin, what do you do?
Lawin's looking out the church doors, pondering whether or not he has enough time to make good on a news article. But his instincts tell him no, and he's just gonna wrap his scarf around his neck casually and walk unhurriedly to the door.
You guys make it with 10 seconds to spare. Right before the clock strikes 13, the red door to the House of Secrets closes, and you're no longer in the realm of the Mad City. Before we see our heroes gather together in a very familiar lobby, a foyer, we see the Mad City. We see it shift and whine. The Pain District spilling out with all sorts of nightmarish figures that are just having so much fun and delight, tormenting, slashing, squeezing anyone that happens to be in their way. The Labyrinth District sort of unfolding, almost like the peeling of and withering of paper alight. And we see the Wax King on his throne with a look of concern. And then we stare down at a chessboard, and we see that among his white figures, a bishop has been knocked over as a black knight shifts in its place. He's not in a good position. And then we pull back to the full Mad City. Clock striking 13. And amongst that clock, we peer down to the figure of Mother Wen. This sort of severe, older, feminine figure. And as we turn the page, it's just a full face where one side is that, and then we just see the skull of death itself peering down over the Mad City. And then we turn the page, and we're in the House of Secrets. You've managed to get out of the Mad City. You are in the home of the House of Secrets, cared for by the Hell Warden. And in tow, Stylus Reader, weakened but alive, and the unconscious body of Dr. No One. You're reunited. What do you all do?
I think Jett's immediate thing is to go over to Stylus, check pulse and everything. See if there's anything she can do to help him.
I'm doing better. But it's going to take me some time to get my feet under me again. Thank you.
Don't thank me for doing what I should have done anyway. I'm sorry you were caught in this.
I don't remember everything. Everything's a fog. I just know. I just know that he's changed even more. Things are uneasy, and something still doesn't feel right.
No. There's still something to fix, but you need to rest. That's your job now.
And he slumps into a comfortable-looking red leather high-backed chair as the familiar face of the Hell Warden to you, Mr. Universe, just goes, if you want to, you can deposit the garbage over on the love seat.
Of course.
Pie, orange juice, anyone?
Has Jett seen any? Because this is the first time Jett's seen the Hell Warden, unless Eliza Trixis? Is that right by name?
Yeah, but you haven't. She's mentioned him.
No, okay,
But
I wasn't sure if she got like a.
You have not
description.
seen
Okay,
him. No.
so Jett doesn't know. Okay. So Jett will kind of just turn to Hell Warden. I give you my thanks, but also, who are you?
Name's Arthur Addison, the Hell Warden. Welcome to the House of Secrets.
I imagine. Go ahead. Sorry.
Your ally Titanica did me a favor, and so I'm doing one in kind.
Is Titanica all right?
Oh, quite fine. She's off saving one of the realms of her people. In exchange, I was to make certain that you made it back home safe.
Jett looks kind of sad for a moment, but also kind of just shakes her head. She always was a go-getter.
So, I don't quite have all the details, but I do know that you all ended up in the Mad City and that something terrible is on the loose. Aside from that thing, as he stares over at Dr. No One's unconscious body.
Yeah, Jett's glaring at that body too. Or splitting her attention, I should say.
For pure description's sake, Mr. Universe is in that constant state of floating at this point. Legs are straight, toes pointed downward. There's a constant glow coming from his eyes, and pieces of him seem to be sort of wisping away and reconstituting on a fairly regular basis. He unceremoniously sort of tosses the garbage onto the love seat. And looks to the Hell Warden. Will Titanica succeed, in your opinion? Or will she need assistance?
She does not fight alone. Scions of the realms and the gods are with her. As though there's instability at work, I am more confident in her success than ours.
I see. Very well.
There are things in play, and I'm still trying to make sense of all of them. As you notice his eyes are taking you all in. And they are a piercing purple as he glances at each of you. But as he does, where he looks longest is between both Jett and Lawin.
Yeah, that tracks.
But first he looks over and walks towards Lawin. So, as a dimensional slider, you are an X-Factor in our little play. What do you intend on doing when you get back home?
I am going to foil an attempt to pick up a couple of items.
Obtuse, but sure. Careful who you work for. They hold to their word, but they love fine print. And as much as they enjoy order, they like wiggle room in what they agree to. Just be aware, while Nightingale and you have a storied history. She's not always wrong. And then he just sort of glides with very light step, almost like a ghost, over to Jett. I see you bear the mark of my former mentor. What is your dealing with the demon?
That's not really a problem anymore, is it?
I beg to differ. She does not give without taking. And what she wants is influence. Not necessarily to win, but to always stay in the game. What did you agree to?
I have appreciation for the actions you have taken to get us from the Mad City. I do not think now would be the time to discuss that.
Considering you're on my home
Perhaps
turf.
fulfilling
And
your agreement to Titanica and sending us home would be prudent.
I've done you all a kindness, and I'm holding to my word, but before I deposit you back in play, I need to make certain that what I put back doesn't unravel a multiverse that I am sworn to protect.
Balance is my goal. Whatever you did with your former mentor has guided actions from that point. I will do nothing as it stands. As you said, you're doing a kindness and you're keeping to your word, so I will keep to myself. But just because you try to escape from the game doesn't mean it stops getting played. Now stop whining.
The entire house darkens. The fire in the fireplace goes out. You presume much, mortal. And we get a kaleidoscope. And we see, for a brief moment, the many different faces of Arthur Addison. The many heroes he's been. Mythos, Barghast, the Grey Ghost, the Guardian of the Pit, the Hellhound, and the Hell Warden, as well as the myriad echoes of him across the multiverse. We see him studying under Julian, the previous Hell Warden. We see him part ways violently. Friendly tease with Elizatrixis at another place and time. See him kicking people off the edge of roofs, fighting with Morgan Le Fay. And we see him part ways with Elizatrixis quite violently, throwing her back into hell. We see Julian's body burned, and him take a key off his corpse and walk into the House of Secrets. I have fought gods and monsters to keep dimensions and planets safe. I have been mortal. I have been robbed of that mortality. I have been robbed of friends and lovers. And I have seen what pride does. And I truck with things that should you see them, they see you, and there is no running from them. Know this. Should you, but for a moment, blanch in your duties to your world, there will be no saving you, and there will be no mercy. And a door opens. A bit of light peers through. What do you all do?
Jett, for dramatic reasons, wants to be the last to leave, so I'd appreciate it if everybody else went first.
Yeah, I think noticing the tension that is high in this room, Overdrive is gonna be like, I think that's our cue to leave. Having just been reunited, we could really do with tea and coffee and a catch up, couldn't we, guys? Let's head out.
Mr. Universe will look at Jett. What would you like done with the trash?
Jail. Jett looks kind of tired. Like she looks focused but tired.
The body will sort of follow Mr. Universe as he floats behind Jett and looks to the Hellwarden. Do not worry for our universe. We work together to ensure its order is maintained.
There is no words that are spoken, but you just hear in your head. While you may be a son of order, I am the enforcer of conclusions. Leave now.
And again, Miss Universe will glance over at Lawin to see what his motions are, but will work his way to the door, ensuring that the body of Dr. No One is outside the door, but he simply sort of stands next to it on the inside, looking at the two leaders of our little band.
Lawin, what do you do?
Is there anything expensive sitting on a shelf?
There's all sorts of strange things on shelves. Are you going to try and futz with something?
See, Lawin is just going to casually remove his scarf and whip it around and back onto his shoulder, knocking whatever it is off the shelves before he exits.
I need a toughness check from you.
Lawin just decided to go full cat out of nowhere.
That one.
I'm gonna use my other remaining luck for the session. 27.
27.
Talk about
I've
that
got good news and bad news. Good news. A version of you gets to walk out of here. You get a choice in this moment. Is the current you, who has made his deal with the laws of order, walking out that door, or is another Lawin?
So I don't really feel like Lawin made a deal with the forces of order. He made a deal with a force, but I don't think it was necessarily order or chaos.
I'll rephrase the question then. Is the Lawin that we know who has been sliding through the multiverse walking through that door back to Paradise City, or is another Lawin walking through that door?
I think it's the Lawin that is sliding through the universe that walks out the door.
Okay. But you will know this as you leave, that the best version of you, the most righteous version of you, the kindest version of you, now sits on a shelf in the House of Secrets as a little action figure.
To be fair, he doesn't get the job done.
He gets lots of jobs done. The Guardian of 5 Earths has now been taken off the board. Yes, Overdrive?
Can I just ask what this appears like to everyone else? Because Overdrive is like tried to cut the tension, but she has not moved. She is chaperoning the heck out of everyone out of this door with attempted minimal drama.
In the dark, with just a single light, a light that looks like home, you see Lawin lash out with his scarf and knock something over in the dark. And then reality stutters a second. Just a frame drops. And whatever fell has changed its shape and is back on the shelf.
Okay. There is a somewhere between a glare and a like, please, we just found you again. Look towards Lawin. To try and catch his eye and be like, let's leave while we can.
Oh, he was already out the door.
Cool.
So the last one left in the room, though there are 2 at the door, is Jett. As we see limping along behind Lawin, his stylus. He wants nothing to do with this place.
Yep, understandable. Yeah, I imagine, so Jett's, watching Stylus limp around and then turning around to face the Hell Warden. And Jett's eyes are, they're very tired, but also very understanding. You've been mortal before, yes? So sometimes you make a mistake and there is nothing you can do to take it back. You do what you think is right at the time, or you think you do what you think is best at the time, whether it's right or not. Sometimes all your options are bad. I have no choice but to live with what I've done and what I will do. Because that's what it is to be mortal. I am not some deity or semi-deity to undo things with the flick of my hand. All I have is my will, which I have proven is strong. I don't want to be at odds with you, but you played your hand when you did, and I've played mine. You know good and well. She wants influence. She doesn't want to be refereed. That's what you're here to do. We will come face to face again. That is inevitable. And I'm a person of my word, and I keep it. That's all I can do. If you strike me down, so be it. You are powerful. And if you don't, just know my will was stronger than yours that day. I don't do it because I want to. I do it because I have to. Because giving up is not in my nature. So I thank you, Hell Warden. And I hope you come prepared the next time we meet. Have a good one.
And as you walk through the door, you are granted a vision. You see yourself in Paradise City. Sulfur is raining from the sky. You see Liz cackling and standing behind you. And you see the Hell Warden, the door to the House of the Secrets laying open. And with sad eyes, just standing there and saying quite clearly, "I told you so," before closing the door.
Imagine Jett sort of, either in the vision or not, sort of like clench fist, forms gloves over it. Just looks weary.
You know this is a vision of things that could be, not will be. And the door to the House of Secrets closes. And out of a very particular closet in at the attic, our heroes are finally home.
The moment Mr. Universe crosses into the epic and is there for just a breath, the body just collapses to the floor, unconscious.
Yeah.
Question?
Overdrive will be straight over there. Bastian, do the little like slap on the face.
And he sort of waves his hand in front. Ah, ow. Ow.
Sorry. I panicked.
That was more for my head hurts. Ugh.
Reality has come crashing back, and all of your powers make sense again.
Ooh. Oh. Ow.
What happened? What is okay? Check.
Did we win?
Everyone here. Everyone got all their limbs.
Did Stylus come out of the closet too, or no?
Yeah, Stylus came out before you did.
Okay, I'll make sure. I just wasn't sure if it was like, oh, like we get teleported back to our headquarters, but he's somewhere else. Okay.
Did we win?
We made it back.
Hey,
I'm
party!
going to make tea.
Yay!
Does anyone else want tea?
Yeah, I've never had your
Yes.
tea. I'd love your tea.
Okay, I'm going to go do that.
I need an ice
You-
pack. Ow.
Mm-hmm. You have definitely had Jett's tea before, so ice pack for sure.
Ugh.
The clock on the wall. It's
Do
7
it.
a.m.
Panic there.
I was waiting for you to say 14 and I was gonna be so upset.
I was just gonna say, as people head towards T, I will sidestep up to Lawin and be like, fancy running into you, I guess, in a terrible attempt at lightening the mood. Are you alright?
Yeah, no worse for wear.
You wanna let us know what happened?
So I got kidnapped into the Wax King's lair. He tried to strike a deal with me. I said no. Then he wouldn't let me leave, so I blew up pretty much his entire base. And then explored Night City. And then explored the Mad City. Until I found you guys.
Yeah, I have to say, it is not getting a high rating on TripAdvisor, not visiting again.
Oh, I don't know. That building was pretty nice. It helped out.
Speak for yourself. Okay. We're all here. We're all fine. Tea. And then game plan.
What do we
for
do with this
what's
guy?
Next. Good question.
As he points to Dr. No One.
I mean, we have spare rooms here.
We're back in the
I mean,
regular world where our powers work regularly, correct?
Yes.
Cool! Arcane bindings.
Not even gonna make you roll. He is lashed tight. Unconscious still, and lashed tight.
Yeah. Yep. One over the
Works
mouth,
too.
not the nose. Wants to be able to breathe, but he doesn't need to be comfortable.
do we have a place to put him? I've never asked if we've had a jail or not in here, or holding cell, or is he just going to kind of sit in the corner? I mean, I'm okay with, we can put him back in the closet.
Have to a holding cell, that would be any form of humane, is the storage closet in your gym. Muted, Fred.
You know you're muted.
What's his crime anyway? I mean, sure he attacked us, but that was in the Mad City, and frankly, I don't really see how he can possibly be arrested for doing something in a alternate space.
That is a super valid question. I mean, it seems logical that the guy who tried to kill us once is going to try and do it again. So what do we do about that?
Do we need to know how he was, like, all powerful, or is that also just another tick for the Mad City?
My assumption is that it had to do with the Mad City. Perhaps Mad Kings themselves. Unclear. That's my guess.
Hey, Jett, how did you even get to the Mad City? You weren't with us when we went through.
I went through a door and got there as well, from my apartment. I was actively hunted, if you want to put it that way.
Okay, good to know. Are we expecting more visitors to hunt us back there? Do we, can we do any magic things to sort of not have that happen again?
Stylus just pipes up.
Hmm?
Sleep. You all need sleep. Good night's sleep keeps it at bay.
You need sleep too, Stat. Thank you. You also need sleep too.
As he just curls up on your couch and lies down.
Okay. Jett will put a blanket over him. Well, Lawin has a point. That we were only attacked in the Mad City. That might be hard to have stick. There's our testimony, of course, but that's biased. So, I guess we could just drop him off outside somewhere. He can figure out his own way back. Can't arrest him, doesn't mean we have to keep him here.
Do we want to talk to him first?
No.
I mean,
That was
I
rude.
really feel like
I don't want to.
I really feel like people like this, something's got to be done, right? You can't just try and, regardless of what reality you might be in, kill people and get away with it. Right? That's not how that works, is it?
I guess. Can I make some sort of intelligence check to see if just like if our testimony is enough, just like, hey, we got transported to a different world, he was there too, and he tried to kill us there. Is that enough to be like, can we like put him in there for something?
You are fairly certain that mortal jurisdiction doesn't involve extra-dimensional crimes.
Okay. Yeah, let's try. Okay.
Would-
You know what Lawin is going to do? He's just going to use the headquarters computer, try to pull up his, Dr. No One's record, see if there's a bounty out on him somewhere, or a warrant for his arrest.
Good call.
Yes, there is a singular warrant. So far, everything he has paid his debt to society. But in the city of Xanadu, he is wanted for insurance fraud.
Oh. Well, if there's one thing that I can't stand, it's white-collar crime.
Is that
So are you
joke,
going to collect
Lawin?
the bounty on him?
I want to take him to Xanadu. Who doesn't want to go to Xanadu?
Xanadu, folks, is located on the Great Lakes on the U.S. side. It is an extra-dimensional extra-dimensional territory that has sovereignty after the Great Fire Sale of 2020. So,
Xanadu? More like Xana don't do crimes.
is ruled over by the tyrant Menace, and strange place. But yeah, wanted for insurance fraud. Small bounty, not high, enough that most bounty hunters wouldn't take it, especially the super kind. It's like $2,000. So, but yeah, if you guys
Hey,
want
that's
to just
books for a semester.
that is parking. That's university parking for 2 vehicles.
See, you get it.
Yes.
A trip up and down on the train in the UK once.
Well, see, there we can buy. We turn this guy in. We can get Titanic as books for the next semester.
Yeah, yes, that's our. So when Titanic is back, there we go. Books are paid for.
And with the note of the team probably taking a quick non-Paradise City Stories, but Paradise City Story giant-sized issue of the team going off to Xanadu. I think that's where we're going to call it today, folks. As Stylus Reader is out on the couch, Dr. No One is unconscious, bound, and probably I'm just picturing like there's the mystical bindings and then Bastian wrapping him up in all those crumpled cans and making restraints out of those. And
Just in case.
you all going to the Paradise City terminal and taking a flight to Xanadu. That's where we'll cut it off, folks. I have been absolutely delighted with this issue. So much happened. Let's go around and find out where you guys can find these amazing people, what they're up to. So first and foremost, Mr. Smith, glad to have you back. Where can we find you, friend? What are you up to?
Oh, hello. I am Mr. Smith. You can find me on the Twitterverse at Mr_Smith. Here in about 2-ish hours, you can catch me over on our sister channel, Penny for a Tale, as I play Rune Ravenswood, the Wizard of the Unforgotten, as we attempt to fight in the Shadow War on the Plane of Shadow in our Pathfinder 2e game. Please come join us if you are so interested in watching shenaniganery and feeling all the feels, because we are a group that makes poor choices on purpose.
And a note of choices and purpose, Alicia, where can we find you, friend?
Oh yeah, hey, that's me. I'm Alicia, or Petty Energy 98, which is over on Twitter. That's the best place to find me. I typically tweet out when I'm live, I retweet a bunch of stuff, art most especially. This art's pretty, I like it. You can find me for this game, but also Sunday night, so roughly hour and a half, you can find me over on my channel, going live with either Wingspan or Monster Prawn, depends on what me and my pals decide to do. There's a couple other places you should be able to find me in the next couple of weeks, but those haven't been announced yet. So just keep your eye out. Again, follow me on Twitter's the best. Follow me on Twitch's the other one. This session was great. And so in terms of the next issue of Jett, because we have our giant size issue, but we still have our individual stories. So next time on Jett, problems with stationery? Problems with filming? Find out the trials and tribulations of doing advertisement as a hero. Is the makeup artist late? Is the hairstylist on the other side of town stuck in a dimensional portal? Will she have to heal before she can sell the goods at the stationery store? Paper and things. Find out next time on Jett.
Excellent. And let's find out what's the next issue of Mr. Universe on your newsstands.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about mine. The next issue of Mr. Universe is Bastian meets Mr. Universe. As in that deep void stands the very stoic image of Mr. Universe. Dark suit, fedora, no eyes. And before him, in this very small space, is the meek and arguably not so imposing Bastian. It's time he had a chat with himself.
That's a heavy issue, folks. Definitely go out and grab it. Speaking of heavy issues and just all the feels, Sveth, how you doing, friend? Where can we find you?
Yeah, I am Zweth. Find me on Twitter, Zwethra here, and follow me on Twitch, which is just Zweth. I do games, I do crafts, I do TTRPG design. It's all sorts of fun. It's many things, and I never know what I'm doing until like the moment before. So follow and find out, as well as with these wonderful people. I am in a bunch of other ones, but again, none that are officially announced. So watch the space for those. My other regular one is an Emberwind game on Valdriant's channel. If you want to catch up with that, they are there. Or on, if you fancy catching up before our hiatus ends and we begin season 3, feel free to do that. That is me for the next issue. So we were like following through the origin story in this comic series, and I think this next issue is is stubbornly and rebelliously bright and individual. Everyone is very, there's a whole group of people standing around, I don't know, like a planning table or something. It's clearly some underground group. Everything is colors again. And I think this issue is of, it's the beginning of the start of the rebellion and the fight against Horizon. That's where we've got to with that. After escaping our nightmares, we get to tell the bright side of that story now.
Awesome. Also awe-inspiring and always hits hard is Lawin. Anino, where can we find you, friend? What are you up to?
Hey everyone, my name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino4K. You can find me tomorrow night on the Wandering SOC channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Simon, the Wandering DM, and we're going to talk about the rebranding of the channel and some upcoming projects that we want to work on. And then I'll be on that channel again on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the next installment of Sentinels. So tune in for that. And the next issue of Lawin is going to be, the cover is going to have the 4 of them in a red convertible with Dr. No One strapped to the back on the top of the trunk. And it's a road trip to Xanadu. That's the issue.
Nice. And I was going to say...
Folks, you're going to want to tune in for that one. Go ahead.
Real quick before, because I forgot to do it. I meant to do it part of my outro. So to explain what that ritual Jett did was, so the thing I recited is in fact wide rule, college rule, and composition notebook backwards. That's what that incantation was.
Stunning.
There you go.
We got stationery and a Zatanna shout out, folks. That's how awesome these people are. So definitely tune in next week. As for myself, I have been your humble editor, Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. If you want to see more of my ridiculous face, you get a number of opportunities throughout the week. Coming up next for me is over on Follow Black Cats as we continue on with Spy Game Hexcrawl. And then we're back around the horn here on Sundays with more Mutants, Masterminds, Paradise City stories. Also, by all means, tune in tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern for Aliens Paradiso Lost, and keep your eyes peeled on this space, as well as our sister channel, Penny for Her Tale. But this is November. It is getting into the holidays, folks. It is the season of charity and giving and helping one another. So I want to just do a quick plug for our friends over on Valdriant's channel. They are currently doing a charity drive that started on Friday and runs all this weekend for Extra Life. As you'll see with a bunch of our channels, this really is Extra Life weekend, and we will be reading them shortly. So please help out if you can, give if you can. If not, lurk, be a positive influence in the chat, and help out that way. But till next time, take care, everyone. And I think this is an issue that has a stinger. And so, as we turn to the last few pages of our issue 306, we see a shadowed figure in a boardroom on a phone. So they're back. Great. Favors still owed. I guess I can expect them to call in their marker soon, since they are without a clue. You still haven't found my sister, have you? Damn it all. And that's where we'll leave off. See you next time, folks. Till then, keep reading.